Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that wherever and whenever you are listening to this recording, that you recognize that we're all going through a massive transformation. A lot of people are feeling tired and sleepy, but overall lighter. But yet a lot of people are still working out some old emotional stuff. There have been reports from the light worker community today that some of the energy is heavy, even angry. A lot of issues, problems coming up from the past. So Mercury went retrograde today in the sign of Leo. So possibly you are angry at people that are in your past, that were former friends. And if that's the case, just realize it's okay to feel the anger. It's okay to feel the hurt. It's okay to let them go. Start getting used to and loving the sound of your feet walking away from the people, places, situations, and things that no longer serve you. This is also a time to recognize that it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable being a caterpillar shoved up into a cocoon, feeling like we want to sleep all the time. And we keep dreaming of what was, and we don't realize that what's about to be is that we're going to come out of this cocoon with the most glorious wings possible. And we're all going to fly together into the fifth dimension, deep anchored into the fifth dimension with all of our glorious colors and our beauty showing. So if you're going through the uncomfortable phase still, realize that you're in a cocoon. You're uncomfortable. You might be feeling uncomfortable, angry, sad. You might still be feeling the loss of homes, things, people that died, people that moved on without you. You got to realize something about people move on without you, though. It's when when people cut themselves out of your life, they're actually doing you a favor, because if they feel that you were worthy of letting go, you didn't need them in your life anyway. I learned that a while ago. So when people sort themselves out, just let them. People say, I'll never call you again. Cool. Thanks. Free up my Saturday. Nice. Nice, boy. Just be grateful for it. Like, hey, I don't need you either then, Because the truth be told, people that are going to be in your life forever are the ones worth keeping in touch with. Sometimes you lose touch for 5 years, 10 years, sometimes 20. And then they come back in your life and they're like, remember that falling out we had? I can't remember what it was about anymore. We probably both matured. I'm sorry for judging you or whatever. But I still love you no matter what. I've had a couple people like that come back after 20 years. People that are now opening up to me about things that they refused to talk about 25 years ago. So I did hear really remarkable video by Pleiadian Healer. She seems like she knows her stuff, like she's really on top of what's going on energy-wise. She is, I don't know, beautiful. She's a beautiful soul. And that's on YouTube. I think PleiadianHealer.com might be her website as well. But she mentioned that it's possible in the next 6 weeks we're going to have a period in which we're going to have massive, rapid ability to manifest. We're going to have people from our past that we thought we would never hear from again come back and either ask us to be back in our lives or at least ask for forgiveness as they realize crap they did wrong to us. That might be us calling people as well. I don't really have anyone to work out anything with anymore. It'd be nice to hear from my ex, the soldier, the one that got away. It would be lovely to hear from him again, but if I did, that would mean that maybe his marriage isn't working, and so I hope that I kind of don't hear from him. I want him to be happy no matter what. But also, Pleiadian Healer, she said that we are going to have the 3 weeks of sadness. I guess this is a Jewish thing that, I don't know if it's a Jewish tradition, but it's something that has been recognized, I guess. I haven't looked into it much. But all the 3 weeks leading up to August 11th are sometimes filled with heaviness, regrets, feelings of sadness. Doesn't mean it's going to be heavy this year for you. Doesn't mean it's going to happen at all for you. But if it starts to happen, I want you to recognize it's possible you're feeling the collective. You might be feeling a group of people. Maybe it's the Jewish people, or, because it's part of their tradition, or maybe it's you. But no matter what uncomfortability, anger, sadness, heaviness that you might be feeling, just remember you're stuck in that little cocoon right now. And even though you're feeling things that make you feel uncomfortable, I want you to recognize that you're in a cocoon. You're safe, you're loved, you're warm, you're secure, you're okay. Even if the emotions aren't making you feel okay, you're actually okay. For me, I felt kind of another lazy day, not really like yesterday, not the heavy duty, intense, powerful, overwhelming need to sleep, but my kid did. He was getting ready to leave the house, and I went out there to give him money to go get me some coffee, because he said he's going downtown where the coffee place is, where we buy our coffee. And he face first planted into the couch. I'm all, hey, and he just couldn't even talk to me. He's like, I'm taking a nap instead. I'm all right. I don't know if that means he's growing or if he's been affected by the Schumann resonance, which has been extraordinarily high in the past day. So I'm going to read that to you now, actually. Let's see here. So we're 99 still on the ascension symptoms scale. So any symptoms that we're feeling, usually what it is, it's just because it's part of the transformation. A lot of my tinnitus is gone, but I still have bits and pieces of it. I have the overwhelming tired thing that happens for like 20, 30 minutes and then it goes away. I was up all night though. I had energy all night, and I only slept about 5 hours, and that was enough. but I've been sleeping massive amounts of hours, 10, 12, 13 hours a day for the past week, maybe a week and a half now. The changes are coming, and they're coming rapidly, and I'm grateful for it, but at the same time, it's still, we're just stuck in that cocoon. We're going to be able to fly soon, though, guys. All right, today the Schumann resonance reads at 11 a.m. UTC time. After about 14 hours of calm, the significant activity resumed quite suddenly at 4 a.m. UTC time, with peaks that remained constantly above 26 hertz. The first notable peaks were at 45 and 47 hertz at 7:15 and 8:30. A more powerful peak, the largest so far, has reached 50 hertz at 10:30 UTC time. So the 11:45 morning report says the intensity of the variations continues to increase. At 10:45 UTC, we had a powerful surge in the amplitude that reached 84 hertz. The evening report at 1700 UTC states, after the maximum peak reported previously at 12 UTC, a high surge followed and reached 53 hertz, after which the amplitude returned to normal values within an hour. So, I mean, that's pretty high. I mean, at 26 wasn't much, but then to 45, 84, 47, 53. These are pretty big numbers. The high one we want to focus on is 84. More than double the bottom part of the fifth dimension. We're going to get there faster than we imagined. So, don't worry, guys. We are like so close, man. I gotta look up our Course in Miracles over here. I've been looking it up on the internet. I realized I have an app on my little phone, so there it is. Literally the name of the... Actually, I'm going to look it up on the internet because that keeps my bookmark from where I'm at. Duh. All right. So, I don't know. I hope that what I said to you earlier, if you're going through some rough times, just realize it's stuff you're still working out. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm still looking up the wrong thing, darn it. I wanted to say... Wait a minute, that's weird. There's a lot of stuff. I might have to do a Weird News Wednesday, but I mentioned that thing in Mexico, which is really freaky. This time in Mexico is supposed to be excessively hot, like really extraordinarily hot, and they're having really crazy... All right, there we go. And they're having really, really crazy hailstorms in Guadalajara, while in Alaska, it was 90 degrees. They've never had... That's a record breaker for... A record breaker. Blech, can't even talk. That's a record breaker for Alaska. I mean, that's not at all normal. All right, let's see here. I'm looking for... All right, Course in Miracles. We're up to lesson 28. I'm still looking it up. I forgot to queue it up before I got online. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was approached minutes ago before I started recording this by an organization in the UK. It's a Christian organization, and they're calling it A Million Prayers, or the Wall of Prayers. And they want people to record their experiences, if they're Christian, I guess, to basically, what did you pray? When did you pray it? When did you receive it? So all your prayers were answered in the way, I guess, that you wished it to go. God answers all our prayers, right? Sometimes the answer is yes, there you go. Sometimes the answer is, hell no, that's not right for you. Sometimes the answer is no answer at all, which means it's time to wait on that. So regardless, every single prayer is answered in the order in which it was received. Just kidding. God can function and answer everyone's prayers at once. It's not like Bruce Almighty, where everybody wins a lottery. You know, and then that means everyone just gets $1. How bummer is that? Woohoo, made 60 cents like everyone else in the city. Oh, man. All right. I think... All right, yeah. Lesson 20 in A Course in Miracles is this. Above all else, I want to see things differently. Above all else, I want to see things differently. So the further part is, above all else, I want to see this blank differently. So above all else, I want to see this job differently. Above all else, I want to see this car differently. Above all else, I want to see this relationship differently. Above all else, I want to see my life differently, whatever it is. None of those were really for me because I don't know. I don't really see anything wrong, I don't think, but maybe I do. I don't know. Overall, I feel pretty cool, like, with the way things are going so far. Still need the twin flame to come, but I'm okay if I have to wait for him, because that means that maybe he's not ready yet. Maybe there's some things I need to do yet. I know specifically in the next 24 hours, I can't have him in my life just because I need to do my laundry first. I'm just kidding. I would meet him even if I didn't have to do my laundry. I still have 1 or 2 clean outfits. Need to wash my hair. Can't meet you today. Sorry. Just kidding. It's not that kind of ready. My girlfriend said that she had this thing. I think I did tell this story before. When I met her, her hair was always dirty. Like stringy, oily, greasy, dirty. Like Professor Snape bad. And her hair and her clothes were, her hair was unbrushed. And she didn't brush her teeth very often, and her clothes were really unkempt. And I'm like, well, why don't you, take an extra hour to get yourself a little more gussied up there, girly? And she's like, I have a theory. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to hear this one. And she said, if I dress up really nice and I look the best I can possibly look, and I meet my twin flame on that day, then he's going to expect that I'm going to look that good or better every day for the rest of our lives together. And then she said, but this is my theory. She says, I have no problem washing my hair every day and looking nice every day, but if he meets me and I look like total crap, I look like hell, my hair is dirty and greasy and stringy and not even brushed, my teeth aren't even brushed, and my clothes are like old and weird looking, if he loves me on that day in spite of all that, and he sees through my crazy exterior into who I am, then basically I'll always look beautiful after that for him, because then I will clean my hair and I will brush my teeth and I will wear kempt clothes, but he won't expect it, because he'll only expect what he first saw. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if this is how people would react or not. But you know what? If it's her twin, he probably will react that way, because he probably thinks the same way too. They probably met each other and his hair was Harry Potter messy, and maybe he had glasses on and they were all smudged up with with body oils, and his t-shirt's probably ripped or dirty. Probably smelled like BO. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I try to look good every time I leave the house, but I don't always look my 100% best. I think because of her little assessment of that scenario, and she has this crazy spiritual wisdom that I've never seen in anybody. She told me that she's fallen asleep at the wheel, but she allows spirit to take over, and she's like driven while asleep. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, you're gonna die, dude. Like, you're gonna crash. You need to like not ever do that again. Promise me, you know how much I love you. Just promise me you're never gonna do this again. She's like, I can't promise I'm not gonna allow spirit to take over my body and my life like every day, because it's spirit, you know. It's greater than all of us. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I hope you don't tell your parents this stuff, because I'm not even your parent. I'm already worried about you. But I have met some people that have like that intense, infinite trust. And I think it's beautiful. All right. So I'm like, literally, I'm laying in bed. I'm recording this. You could probably tell my voice is different. And I'm sitting up from when I'm laying down. I'm like literally laying in bed with covers over me. I am really tired today. My back hurts like crazy. I took magnesium. I had enough caffeine today. So it's not even that. I'm even eating a candy bar, a chocolate bar that has, it's like 60% cacao. And it has a bunch of coffee nibs in it. So it's like pieces of coffee, literally roasted coffee beans. That has caffeine too, not from the chocolate. Chocolate doesn't have caffeine. That's a misnomer. Only coffee has caffeine. But yeah, I've had enough. So I don't know why I'm in so much pain. I think when you're on a bus and the bus is like going super fast and they're making all these wild hairpin turns, I think you tense your body up. It's almost like a constant workout for 9 hours when you're on a 9-hour bus ride. I think that's why I'm so sore. Like, I barely moved today. I wanted to go shopping. They have new bathing suits on. They're on sale for $16 at this store down the road. And I have a $50 or $60 bathing suit I bought in Colombia. And I feel like I kind of want to buy just a couple cheap bathing suits so I could go over to the hot tub place all the time. Or it's like they call it a hot tub place, but it's actually swimming pools, and they're natural, and there's no chlorine. It's all natural, and you step into that, and it just heals your skin immediately. It gives you all the minerals you need immediately. And they have 3 different baths, and they do 3 different things. One's for like acne, and one's for like arthritis, and they're all different. And they even have caves. You could get massaged in a cave while being cocooned by the energy of Mother Earth. Another one is Epsom salts, like tons and tons of Epsom salts. So it's like a flotation tank, but you're inside a cave. So it's a cave flotation tank, and then it's sensory deprivation. And then they close the door and you can't see anything. But that one freaks me out because I feel like I'm going to get a fucking centipede on me or a spider or something, and there's no freaking way in hell I'm going to relax in that situation. I just won't. But they have these other things that are steam things. Like, I don't know if you guys ever saw the I Love Lucy episode where she's in the this giant silver container and only her head is sticking out. She has a towel wrapped around her neck to keep the steam in so that she could lose weight for her body. They have those things at this place, this spa. It's only like 20 minutes from me on the other end of town, 20, 30 minutes. And I haven't been inside those steamy things. I don't even know if they work. It's just like a sweat lodge for your body. You keep your head out of it. But it's like creepy. It's like you sit in the thing and they close the thing around you. And it's like, what if they forget to come and get you? Or what if you pass out? Or I don't know. It just, the Virgo in me says, oh, no. And one day, and they have like a masseuse or you could have two masseuses massaging you at once, and you have to go like down into the caves, and then you're having two men come in after you, and the two men are massaging you. That's another really bizarre scenario where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. And then the words, the rape caves from the TV show Lost, keep coming up over and over again in my mind when I think of that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I just, that's no, just no. But I do want to go to the swimming pool and just go swim in that pool because the water is super warm and the minerals help me release and relax the muscle tension. I don't know. Are you guys feeling physical stuff? Like, if, send me comments at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, or even voice message. I'll play it on the air if you want. Anchor.fm/metaphysical. I want to know what's going on with you guys physically. Or you could, of course, contact me on Facebook. I do have a Metaphysical Soul Speak. The podcast is the name of my Facebook page, as well as I am at Mermaid Girl 888 on both Twitter and Instagram. All right. I'm going to sit up. My throat is swollen, so my voice changes when I lay down versus when I sit up. Anyway, I'm just trying to get rid of the pain that I have. I have this, remember the thing I told you guys about in the natural pain relief episode? If you're just new and joining us, thank you. Welcome. But if you want to know about natural pain relief, I did do a show on this, and I'm constantly using this thing. It's 2 tennis balls I wrap with duct tape. So it's like silver balls. And I use this to put under my spine, and I inch it all the way up my spine. Every minute I move it up, and that relaxes my whole back, but it hasn't been 100% working. And I think that possibly there might be something to this pain that might not be only me. So if you guys are going through this too, then and I'm mentioning it, that means that we're probably just having an ascension symptom of our stiff muscles, and we'll probably be okay in another day or two. So I'm just like, damn it, that turquoise bathing suit I saw and I didn't get to like check it out or try it on or buy it. It's probably going to be gone, my favorite color, but that's okay. That means there'll be a better one for me. It's not meant for me if it's not there when I get there. I saw some bikinis and I'm like, I might even be a little gutsy and buy a bikini because they were kind of like very full bikinis, not the teeny tiny string bikinis, which I refuse to wear. I don't have the body for that, but I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a nice bikini too, like get my tummy a little tan or something. I don't know. I just want 2 or 3 bathing suits. I need to go so I can start going over to that place often and swimming in this really good healing water. I just feel like it's bubbling up from the volcanoes, and I feel like I want to be a part of that volcano network right now. I don't know if you guys have any hot springs near where you live. Be careful and watch all the volcanoes in the area, because sometimes those waters can go really hot really fast. Like I was over in Nevada and I have a timeshare on top of where the volcanic waters are. And there are several underground hot springs, and there's like 6 hot tubs and a giant swimming pool. And it's the same kind of thing over in Nevada. And some of the times I go there and 2 or 3 of the hot tubs are just closed because the water turns so hot so fast. I mean, it can like literally boil you alive, so you have to be super careful. But if you keep abreast on the volcanic activity around the world, and if it's near you too hot, then don't go. But I don't know. I'm thinking I kind of want to be a part of that. It's just like I'm feeling this pull to go to the water and connect with the water spirits, and at the same time connect with the volcanic earth spirits. There's got to be spirits, controlling the fire. So I'm kind of a fire and earth a fire and water person, but so I always like to take, bubble baths with candlelight. But there was a massive volcanic explosion in Italy. There's been a couple more volcanoes go off. I think one was in Ecuador recently. I was just near 3 massive volcanoes. I didn't see any of them go off. I saw a little puff of smoke above one of them. That might have just been a cloud, or it might have been an actual smoke from the volcano. But that's one that goes off every couple days anyway. Kitumbé, I think, and Cotopaxi were the ones that I was looking at. They both are covered in snow. They're so high in elevation. It's ridiculous. They're constantly covered in snow. But I'm going to try to look up excuse me, all of there's been a lot of earthquakes hitting the Los Angeles area right now. So pray for Los Angeles and all the residents in Los Angeles. My heart and prayers go out to them. Oh, also our hearts and prayers should absolutely 100% go out to Stevie Wonder, because he has canceled the rest of the tour he was on because he got a kidney. He will be getting a kidney transplant. It was breaking news from Variety just about an hour ago before I started recording this. So please pray for Stevie Wonder. I don't know if you guys have ever sat and really listened to a Stevie Wonder album, but the one Inner Vision is my favorite album from him, especially if you're young. If you're like in your 20s and you're like, yeah, I've heard like Ma Cherie and more. Everybody knows that song. Everybody knows, 2 or 3 of his songs. But Inner Vision is all about self-transformation, meditation, talking about moving your energy to a higher place, being grateful for being reincarnated and having another chance at life, and loving God and loving yourself and being connected with your soul. That is one of the best albums I have ever heard. It's so positive and it's so amazing. And there's a couple stories he tells in a couple of the songs about people struggling through their life, but in the end, it's all worth it because it's our experience for God. That's literally one of my favorite albums, of all time ever. So I used to have it on CD back in the day. You could just go listen to it for free, though, on YouTube. And anyway, I love him. He was doing transcendental meditation in the 70s. So this guy is deeply spiritual. He's been blind, I think, his whole life, and now he's getting a kidney transplant. So send your love and your hearts out to not only the Californians, but in the earthquake scenario, but especially to and he's from Southern California too. So but also Stevie Wonder. We love him very much. Anyway, I'm gonna take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to read again from The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. I think tonight will be our final night, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's part 4 out of 4 tonight. So I will be right back after this. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. All right, guys, we are here at the end of the reading of The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. He was Lebanese born, and when he was about 12 years old, he moved to Boston in the United States, in the state of Massachusetts, and he became exposed to English. He had already spoken since he was from Lebanon, probably French, as well as Arabic, like most people in Lebanon do. And it's kind of a mix, it's like a Arabic-French conglomeration in each sentence. It's pretty amazing, actually. I have friends from Lebanon, they speak like this. They'll, like, one moment they'll say, we shari, yes, my dear, and then one moment later they'll be saying alhamdulillah, thanks to God, in Arabic. It's pretty cool. Lebanon seems to me like a very interesting culture. But Kahlil Gibran was very much inspired, and after he learned English, he started writing all of his books in English. The first book, I don't know when he wrote his first book. I think when he was 18, possibly. But he started writing pretty early. But when he wrote this book that we are now ending today, he was 30 years old when he wrote this book. And when he died when he was 48 years old, only 18 years after he wrote this. He passed away from tuberculosis, God rest his soul. That could not have been easy. But we are lucky that we are able to have his works in our lives. He was a very profound, very deeply spiritual, intelligent, and observant man. I really, really love all of his writing. So we are continuing now at 11:33 p.m. Oh gosh, and now it's 2:33 minutes in. See, I love when the universe comes together and conspires for these amazing sequences of numbers. The master number 33. Indeed, he might have been a master, actually. Anyway, we're going to continue. Last week, remember, we ended on time, which was right after friendship. This day, we're going to start with good and evil. So here we go. And one of the elders of the city said, "Speak to us of good and evil." And he answered, "Of the good in you I can speak, but not of the evil. For what is evil but good tortured by its own hunger and thirst? Verily, when good is hungry, it seeks food even in dark caves, and when it thirsts, it drinks even of dead waters. You are good when you are one with yourself. Yet when you are not one with yourself, you are not evil. For a divided house is not a den of thieves. It is only a divided house. And a ship without rudder may wander aimlessly among perilous isles, yet sink not to the bottom. You are good when you strive to give of yourself. Yet you are not evil when you seek gain for yourself. For when you strive for gain, you are but a root that clings to the earth and sucks at her breast. Surely the fruit cannot say to the root, "Be like me, full and ripe and ever giving of your abundance." For to the fruit, giving is a need, as receiving is a need to the root. You are good when you are fully awake in your speech, yet you are not evil when you sleep, while your tongue staggers without purpose. And even stumbling speech may strengthen a weak tongue. You are good when you walk to your goal firmly and with bold steps. Yet you are not evil when you go thither limping. Even those who limp go not backward. But you who are strong and swift, see that you do not limp before the lame, deeming it kindness. You are good in countless ways, and you are not evil when you are not good. You are only loitering and sluggard. Pity that the stags cannot teach swiftness to the turtles. In your longing for your giant self lies your goodness, and that longing is in all of you. But in some of you that longing is a torrent, rushing might to the sea, carrying the secrets of the hillsides and the songs of the forest. And in others it is a flat stream that loses itself in angles and bends and lingers before it reaches the shore. But let not him who longs much to say to him who longs little, "Wherefore are you slow in halting?" For the truly good ask not the naked, "Where is your garment?" nor the houseless, "What has befallen your house?" Then a priestess said, "Speak to us of prayer." And he answered, saying, "You pray in your distress and in your need. Would that you might pray also in the fullness of your joy and in your days of abundance. For what is prayer but the expansion of yourself into the living ether? And if it is for your comfort to pour your darkness into space, it is also for your delight to pour forth the dawning of your heart. And if you cannot weep, but weep when your soul summons you to prayer, she should spur you again and yet again, though weeping until you shall come laughing. When you pray, you rise to meet in the air those who are praying at that very hour, and whom save in prayer you may not meet. Therefore let your visit to that temple invisible be for naught but ecstasy and sweet communion. For if you should enter the temple for no other purpose than asking, you shall not receive. And if you should enter into it humble yourself, if you should enter into it to humble yourself, you shall not be lifted. Or even if you should enter into it to beg for the good of others, you shall not be heard. It is enough that you enter the temple invisible. I cannot teach you how to pray in words. God listens not to your words, save when he himself utters them through your lips. And I cannot teach you the prayer of the seas and the forests and the mountains. But you who are born of the mountains and forests and the seas can find their prayer in your heart. And if you but listen, in the stillness of the night, you shall hear them saying in silence, Our God, who art our winged self, it is thy will in us that willeth. It is thy desire in us that desireth. It is thy urge in us that would turn our nights, which are thine, into days which are thine also. We cannot ask thee for aught, for thou knowest our needs before they are born in us. Thou art our need, and in giving us more of thyself, thou givest us all. Then a hermit, who visited the city once a year, came forth and said, Speak to us of pleasure. And he answered, saying, Pleasure is a freedom song, but it is not freedom. It is the blossoming of your desires, but it is not their fruit. It is a depth calling unto a height, but it is not the deep nor the high. It is the caged taking wing, but it is not space encompassed. Aye, in very truth, pleasure is a freedom song, and I fain would have you sing it with fullness of heart. Yet I would not have you lose your hearts in the singing. Some of your youth seek pleasure as if it were all, and they are judged and rebuked. I would not judge nor rebuke them. I would have them seek, for they shall find pleasure, but not her alone. 7 are her sisters. The least of them is more beautiful than pleasure. Have you not heard of the man who was digging in the earth for roots and found a treasure? And some of your elders remember pleasures with regret, like wrongs committed in drunkenness. But regret is the beclouding of the mind, and not its chastisement. They should remember their pleasures with gratitude, as they would the harvest of a summer. Yet if it comforts them to regret, well, let them be comforted. And there are those and there are among you those who are neither young to seek nor old to remember. And in their fear of seeking and remembering, they shun all pleasures, lest they neglect the Spirit or offend against it. But even in their foregoing is their pleasure, and thus they too find a treasure, though they dig for roots with quivering hands. But tell me, who is he that can offend the Spirit? Shall the nightingale offend the stillness of the night? Or the firefly, the stars? And shall your flame or the smoke burden the wind? Think you the Spirit is still pool, which you can trouble with a staff? Oftentimes, in denying yourself pleasure, you do but store the desire in the recesses of your being. Who knows but that which seems omitted today waits for tomorrow? Even your body knows its heritage and its rightful need, and will not be deceived. And your body is the harp of the soul, and it is yours to bring forth sweet music from it, or confused sounds. And now you ask in your heart, how shall we distinguish that which is good in pleasure from that which is not good? Go to your fields and your gardens, and you shall learn that it is the pleasure of the bee to gather honey of the flower. But it is also the pleasure of the flower to yield its honey to the bee. For to the bee a flower is a fountain of life, and to the flower a bee is a messenger of love. And to both bee and flower, the giving and the receiving of pleasure is a need and an ecstasy. People of Orphalese, be in your pleasures like the flowers and the bees. And a poet said, "Speak to us of beauty." And he answered, "Where shall you seek beauty, and how shall you find her unless she herself be your way and your guide? How shall you speak of her except she be the weaver of your speech?" The aggrieved and the injured say, "Beauty is kind and gentle. Like a young mother half shy of her own glory, she walks among us." And the passionate say, "Nay, beauty is a thing of might and dread. Like the tempest, she shakes the earth beneath us and the sky above us." The tired and the weary say, "Beauty is of soft whisperings. She speaks in our spirit. Her voice yields to our silences like a faint light that quivers in fear of the shadow." But the restless say, "We have heard her shouting among the mountains, and with her cries came the sound of hooves and the beating of wings and the roaring of lions." At night, the watchmen of the city say, "Beauty shall rise with the dawn from the east." And at noontide, the toilers and the wayfarers say, "We have seen her leaning over the earth from the windows of the sunset." In winter, say the snowbound, "She shall come with the spring leaping upon the hills." And in the summer heat, the reapers say, "We have seen her dancing with the autumn leaves, and we saw a drift of snow in her hair." All these things have you said of beauty. Yet, in truth, you spoke not of her, but of needs unsatisfied. And beauty is not a need, but an ecstasy. It is not a mouth thirsting, nor an empty hand stretched forth, but rather a heart inflamed and a soul enchanted. It is not the image you would see, nor the song you would hear, but rather an image you see, though you close your eyes, and a song you hear, though you shut your ears. It is not the sap within the furrowed bark, nor a wing attached to a claw, but rather a garden forever in bloom and a flock of angels forever in flight. People of Orphalese, beauty is life when life unveils her holy face. But you are life, and you are the veil. Beauty is eternity, gazing at itself in a mirror. But you are eternity, and you are the mirror. And an old priest said, "Speak to us of religion." And he said, "Have I spoken this day of aught else? Is not religion all deeds and all reflection? And that which is neither deed nor reflection, but a wonder and a surprise ever springing in the soul, even while the hands hew the stone or tend the loom? Who can separate his faith from his actions, or his belief from his occupations? Who can spread his hours before him, saying, 'This is for God, and this is for myself. This is for my soul, and this other for my body'? All your hours are wings that beat through space from self to self. He who wears his morality but as his best garment were better naked. The wind and the sun will tear no holes in his skin, and he who defines his conduct by ethics imprisons his songbird in a cage. The freest song comes not through bars and wires, and he to whom worshipping is a window, to open but also to shut, has not yet visited the house of his soul, whose windows are from dawn to dawn. Your daily life is your temple and your religion. Whenever you enter into it, take with you your all. Take the plow and the forge and the mallet and the lute, the things you have fashioned in necessity or for delight. For in reverie you cannot rise above your achievements, nor fall lower than your failures. And take with you all men, for in adoration you cannot fly higher than their hopes, nor humble yourself lower than their despair. And if you would know God, be not therefore a solver of riddles. Rather look about you and you shall see him playing with your children. And look into space and you shall see him walking in the cloud, outstretching his arms in the lightning and descending in rain. You shall see him smiling in flowers, then rising and waving his hands in trees. Then Almitra spoke, saying, "We would now ask of death." And he said, "You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl, whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day, cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depth of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die, but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing, but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it might rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then you shall truly dance. And now it was evening. And Almitra the seeress said, Blessed be this day and this place and your spirit that has spoken. And he answered, Was it I who spoke? Was I not also a listener? Then he descended the steps of the temple, and all the people followed him. And he reached his ship and stood upon the deck. And facing the people again, he raised his voice and said, People of Orphalese, the wind bids me leave you. Less hasty am I than the wind, yet I must go. We wanderers, ever seeking the lonelier way, begin no day where we have ended another day, and no sunrise finds us where sunset left us. Even while the earth sleeps, we travel. We are the seeds of the tenacious plant, and it is in our ripeness and our fullness of heart that we are given to the wind and are scattered. Brief were my days among you, and briefer still the words I have spoken. But should my voice fade in your ears, and my love vanish in your memory, then I will come again, and with a richer heart and lips more yielding to the Spirit will I speak. Yea, I shall return with the tide, and though death may hide me, and the greater silence enfold me, yet again will I seek your understanding. And not in vain will I seek. If aught I have said is true, that truth shall reveal itself in a clearer voice, and in words more kin to your thoughts. I go with the wind, people of Orphalese, but not down into emptiness. And if this day is not a fulfillment of your needs and my love, then let it be a promise till another day. Man's needs change, but not his love, nor his desire that his love should satisfy his needs. Know, therefore, that from the greater silence I shall return. The mist that drifts away at dawn, leaving but dew in the fields, shall rise and gather into a cloud, and then fall down in rain. And not unlike the mist have I been. In the stillness of the night I have walked in your streets, and my spirit has entered your houses, and your heartbeats were in my heart, and your breath was upon my face, and I knew you all. I knew your joy and your pain, and in your sleep your dreams were my dreams. And oftentimes I was among you, a lake among the mountains. I mirrored the summits in you, and the bending slopes, and even the passing flocks of your thoughts and your desires. And to my silence came the laughter of your children in streams, and the longing of your youths in rivers. And when they reached my depth, the streams and the rivers ceased not yet to sing. But sweeter still than laughter and greater than longing came to me. It was the boundless in you, the vast man, in whom you are all but cells and sinews. He in whose chant all your singing is but a soundless throbbing. It is in the vast man that you are vast. And in beholding him that I beheld you and loved you. For what distances can love reach that are not in that vast sphere? What visions, what expectations, and what presumptions can outsoar that flight? Like a giant oak tree covered with apple blossoms is the vast man in you. His might binds you to the earth, his fragrance lifts you into space, and in his durability you are deathless. You have been told that, even like a chain, you are as weak as your weakest link. This is but half the truth. You are also as strong as your strongest link. To measure you by your smallest deed is to reckon the power of ocean by the frailty of its foam. To judge you by your failures is to cast blame upon the seasons for their inconstancy. You are like an ocean, and though heavy-grounded ships await the tide upon your shores, yet even like an ocean, you cannot hasten your tides. And like the seasons you are also, and though in your winter you deny your spring, yet spring, reposing within you, smiles in her drowsiness and is not offended. Think not I say these things in order that you may say the one to the other, he praised us well, he saw but the good in us. I only speak to you in words of that which you yourselves know in thought. And what is word knowledge but a shadow of wordless knowledge? Your thoughts and my words are waves from a sealed memory that keeps records of our yesterdays and of the ancient days when the earth knew not us nor herself, and of nights when earth was upwrought with confusion. Wise men have come to you to give you of their wisdom. I came to take of your wisdom, and behold, I have found that which is greater than wisdom. It is a flame spirit in you, ever gathering more of itself, while you, heedless of its expansion, bewail the withering of your days. It is life in quest of life, in bodies that fear the grave. There are no graves here. These mountains and plains are a cradle and a stepping stone. Whenever you pass by the field where you have laid your ancestors, look well thereupon, and you shall see yourselves and your children dancing hand in hand. Verily, you often make merry without knowing. Others have come to you, whom for golden promises made unto your faith, you have given but riches and power and glory. Less a promise have I given, and yet more generous have you been to me. You have given me my deeper thirsting after life. Surely there is no greater gift to a man than that which turns all his aims into parching lips and all life into a fountain. And in this lies my honor and my reward, that whenever I come to the fountain to drink, I find the living water itself thirsty, and it drinks me while I drink it. Some of you have deemed me proud and over-shy to receive gifts. Too proud indeed am I to receive wages, but not gifts. And though I have eaten berries among the hills, when you would have had me sit at your board, and slept in the portico of the temple when you would gladly have sheltered me, yet was it not your loving mindfulness of my days and nights, my nights that made food sweet to my mouth and girdled my visions, my sleep with visions. For this I bless you most. You give much, and know not that you give it all. Verily, the kindness that gazes upon itself in a mirror turns to stone, and a good deed that calls itself by tender names becomes apparent to a curse. And some of you have called me aloof and drunk with my own aloneness. And you have said, he holds counsel with the trees of the forest, but not with men. He sits alone on hilltops and looks down upon our city. True it is that I have climbed the hills and walked in remote places. How could I have seen you, save from a great height or a great distance? How can one be indeed near unless he be far? And others among you called unto me, not in words, and they said, Stranger, stranger, lover of unreachable heights, why dwell you among the summits where eagles build their nests? Why seek you the unattainable? What storms would you trap in your net? What vaporous birds do you hunt in the sky? Come and be one of us. Descend and appease your hunger with our bread. Quench your thirst with our wine. In the solitude of their souls they said these things. But were their solitude deeper, they would have known that I sought but the secret of your joy and your pain. And I hunted only for larger selves that walk the sky. But the hunter was also the hunted, for many of my arrows left my bow only to seek my own breast. And the flyer was also the creeper. For when my wings were spread in the sun, their shadow upon the earth was a turtle. And I, the believer, was also the doubter. For often have I put my finger in my own wound, that I might have the greater belief in you and the greater knowledge of you. And it is with this belief and this knowledge that I say, you are not enclosed within your bodies, nor confined to houses or fields. That which is you dwells above the mountains and roves with the wind. It is not a thing that crawls into the sun for warmth or digs holes into darkness for safety, but a thing free, a spirit that envelops the earth and moves in the ether. If these be vague words, then seek not to clear them. Vague and nebulous is the beginning of all things, but not their end. And I fain would have you remember me as a beginning. Life and all that lives is conceived in the mist and not in the crystal. And who knows but a crystal is mist in decay. This would I have you remember in remembering me. That which seems most feeble and bewildered in you is the strongest and most determined. Is it not your breath that has erected and hardened the structure of your bones? Is it not a dream which none of you remember having dreamt, that builded your city and fashioned all there is in it? Could you but see the tides of that breath, you would cease to see all else. And if you could hear the whispering of the dream, you would hear no other sound. But you do not see, nor do you hear, and it is well. The veil that clouds your eyes shall be lifted by the hands that wove it, and the clay that fills your ears shall be pierced by those fingers that kneaded it. And you shall see, and you shall hear, yet you shall not deplore having known blindness, nor regret having been deaf. For in that day you shall know the hidden purposes in all things, and you shall bless darkness as you would bless light. After saying these things, he looked about him, and he saw the pilot of his ship standing by the helm and gazing now at the full sails and now at the distance. And he said, "Patient over patient is the captain of my ship. The wind blows and the restless are the sails. Even the rudder begs direction. Yet quietly my captain awaits my silence. And these are my mariners who have heard the choir of the greater sea. They too have heard me patiently. Now they shall wait no longer. I am ready." The stream has reached the sea, and once more the great mother holds her son against her breast. Farewell, you people of Orphalese. Fare you well. This day has ended. It is closing upon us, even as the water lily upon its own tomorrow. What has given us here we shall keep, and if it suffices not, then again must we come together, and together stretch our hands unto the giver. Forget not that I shall come back to you a little while, and my longings shall gather dust and foam for another body. A little while, a moment of rest upon the wind, and another woman shall bear me. Farewell to you, the youth I have spent with you. It was but yesterday we met in a dream. You have sung to me in my aloneness, and I of your longings have built a tower in the sky. But now our sleep has fled, our dream is over, and it is no longer dawn. The noontide is upon us, and our half-waking has turned to fuller day, and we must part. If in the twilight of memory we should meet once more, we shall speak again together, and you shall sing to me a song, a deeper song. And if our hands should meet in another dream, we shall build another tower in the sky." So saying, he made a signal to the seamen, and straightway they weighed the anchor. They cast the ship loose from its moorings, and they moved eastward. And a cry came from the people, as from a single heart. And it rose into the dusk and was carried out over the sea like a great trumpeting. Only Almitra was silent, gazing after the ship until it had vanished into the mist. And when all the people were dispersed, she still stood alone upon the sea wall, remembering in her heart his saying, "A little while, a moment of rest upon the wind, and another woman shall bear me." Okay, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think he really left on a ship, or do you think he just died? What do you think? He said he's coming back, but another woman will bear him. So that's reincarnation, right? I mean, that's a really profound ending right there. Al-Mitra, who started this whole thing, started this entire book by asking the first question and wanting to hear of all of his knowledge. I love that. She still stood alone upon the seawall, remembering in her heart his saying, "A little while, a moment of rest upon the wind, and another woman shall bear me." This is particularly poignant, is it not, for us people of earth who shall no more know the joys and pains, the longings and the sorrows of reincarnation? I think it was good I read this now. What do you guys think? It's going to make me cry a lot, but it's because we've already done this. We already know this. And we've already finished this chapter of our human existence. I don't know what tomorrow brings. I know it's going to be beautiful. I know it's going to be far more wonderful than what we have already experienced and conceived, what we've already lived through. We're going to live a lot longer too, but in a higher realm, a higher dimension. We're already here. We just have to let go of our third dimensional thinking and open our higher eyes and feel love from our higher heart. Listen from our higher ears. Everything is changing now, guys. I'm glad you guys are all on this journey with me, that we chose as a collective whole, as the 144,000, to experience what it's like to rise up together, like the foam upon the sea. We're hand in hand, you and me. I'm grateful for that, guys. I really am. But it's time for me to sign off. I'll be back tomorrow with all unique programming, the brand new show. It's never been done before. I love each and every one of you. I hope you have a restful night, or if you're listening to this in the morning, I hope you have a joy-filled day, and that you manifest in your world that which you want, that which you need, and that which you desire. So I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.